Welcome back, everyone, to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 129. Today, we are back, and we got so many things to talk about. It's Friday today. How's it going?
Good. It was a good week. We hooped twice this week.
Yeah.
We got 2 hoop runs in at night, late nights.
We're going to have to get another one in soon.
Yeah, this weekend we'll have to try. I guess we'll probably go Sunday night. No, football.
Football, yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably go Sunday morning.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe.
But, yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's just hop right into it. Actually, before we hop right into it, if you're listening right now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure you're hitting the download button when you listen. There's no point in listening if you're not going to download the episode. It doesn't help us out at all. And also subscribe to us on YouTube, like on TikTok, follow us. We're getting more TikToks pumped out. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we're growing.
Promo.
We're growing.
Yeah.
That's the instant promo.
We're
I like it
getting
at the start of the episode. That's
Exactly,
different.
yeah.
I like it.
So let's talk about the big news. Last night, the All-Star Game starters were announced, and obviously every year there's always going to be, like a guy that's gets in the starters that's just like, oh, I didn't think he was going to get in. But this year there's a specific guy that got in that is just, whoa. So in the East, let's talk about the East starters. Trae Young, DeMar DeRozan are in the backcourt. KD, Giannis, and Joel Embiid are in the front court. No surprises. I mean, you could maybe say Zach LaVine instead of Trae Young or James Harden instead of Trae Young. But I think those other 4 were guarantees.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Trae Young probably deserves it.
Yeah, I do too. I think with the way he's been playing, especially before the All-Star break,
Yeah,
he's been
and
balling.
the Hawks are on a win streak right now, so
Yeah.
and he's the leader of that team. In the West, Curry and Ja Morant make up the backcourt. Pretty expected.
It's like the most.
There was
elite
another
ever.
one that was like instead of Ja, there was I forget
Book
who.
or Chris
Yeah,
Paul.
Booker or Chris Paul, yeah, which you could argue that just because they're the best team in the league, but
Mm-hmm.
they're both going to be all-stars anyways, who cares? LeBron and Jokic make up 2 of the front court spots, and the last front court spot goes to first-time all-star Andrew Wiggins. What's your initial reaction to this?
It is so wrong. This is like I could have maybe seen him getting as like the last All-Star, because the front court spot in the West is actually pretty tough. Because with like Paul George being out, Kawhi Leonard being out,
like it's tough to
Draymond
as far as
is out.
getting guys in there. Yeah,
just like
for
playing.
sure.
But like for Andrew Wiggins to be a starter is ridiculous, because he's been good this year, no doubt.
Yeah, like he's probably
it's his
having the
best.
best year of his career.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's also had seasons where he averages like 24 a game. And right now he's only averaging 18, I think.
Yeah, but I
Something
mean,
like
it's
that.
a little different. He's on a good team. He's just shooting the ball efficiently, whereas he wasn't in Minnesota. But
It's still
he's a
like-
plus defender now. Like I'm trying to play the devil's advocate, I guess. But yeah, it's wrong that he
It's
is
so
a starter.
wrong.
I don't get why you can't just make Draymond a starter and then just Draymond is probably gonna miss the All-Star game, I would assume. But you can at least it's just like KD. KD might not be back in time for the All-Star game, but just name Draymond a starter and then Wiggins can start over him
Yeah.
if he does make the All-Star game.
Just roll with him from there.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't get it, because Andrew Wiggins is clearly the 3rd best player, and by the end of the year might be the 4th best player on the Warriors. He might fall behind.
He might
Klay.
be the 5th best player.
Like,
What if Jordan
Wiseman
Poole's
comes
better?
back. Yeah, James Wiseman
Kuminga's
comes
been
back.
balling.
Like,
No,
there's-
Wiggins for sure is having a good year, and I especially after Draymond got hurt and Paul George has been out for so long now, that I did think Wiggins maybe would sneak in and get a spot in the All-Star game, just because, like you said, the front court is just really limited right now in the Western Conference. But for him to get the starting spot is just crazy. The fan voting for All-Star, I think we do need to change how All-Star Weekend works in general, because I think the fan vote makes up for 50% of the actual results, which
Yeah, it does.
is pretty high.
It's too high.
It's too high, because obviously we've had like Zaza Pachulia. He was the leading vote getter a few years ago. Derrick Rose is always like a top 5 vote getter, but he's not gonna. We all know that these guys aren't going to make it. So I kind of figured Wiggins was like one of those things.
Yeah,
Like,
me
yeah,
too.
he might sneak in. Like, he deserves it more than like D Rose, but he's just getting a lot of votes because there's a lot of Warriors fans. I didn't think he actually was going to get a starting spot, which is just wild.
It is like unreal, because you look at like Wiggins' career, and like I never thought he'd get to this point. Like after
Yeah.
like 2 years ago, I would say I never thought he'd get to this point where all of a sudden, boom, All-Star starter. But it's not like a deserved All-Star
Yeah,
starter.
exactly.
Like it's not like he's balling out this year, averaging 25 a game. Like the Warriors have kind of been on the slide lately.
Yeah, and strict probably just because Draymond has been out, but yeah, I mean, shout out to Andrew Wiggins for making the All-Star game. Like, he definitely deserves the recognition. not like hating on Wiggins or anything. He has turned his career around,
Yeah.
and he's not like this crazy overpaid player anymore. But it's just a little shocking that he got that when I saw that out of the media votes, I think he got 2 starter votes. I think it's out of like 98 votes or something.
Jeez.
And Rudy Gobert got like 60 some and isn't a starter. So we'll see if they I think they also just need to change the front court guard thing. Can it just be the 12 best players from each conference?
Just do the 12 best players.
Does it even have to be out of each conference? Because it's not even East-West anymore. Can it just be
Yeah.
the 24 best players in the NBA? Or 20, you
I
know,
still like
that
the 12
season.
and 12.
I do too, because
like
you do get the
conference.
captains and everything, but the whole front court,
Is bad.
backcourt thing needs to stop, because not only in the West, but in the Eastern Conference, there's just so many guards that deserve to be in the All-Star game that aren't going to make it. Like in the Western Conference, who are the other front court guys going to be that make it? I mean, Gobert for sure gets
Yep.
in. Cat gets in. Like, you couldn't throw Cat in the starting lineup
Yeah.
here. Maybe Brandon Ingram gets in, like possibly.
Is Ant a front court player?
No, he's a guard. So it's just like there's too many guards, and it's kind of stupid how it's like this, because
There's
like,
no reason
there's no
D-Book
reason
can't
for
go
it.
do what Andrew Wiggins does in the
Why
All-Star
can't
game.
Booker go start? Just because he's an inch shorter than Wiggins, he
Like,
can't go start in the All-Star game.
It's ridiculous.
Like, it makes no sense. The basketball is positionless now, anyways. So hopefully this is like a sign to Adam Silver that okay, we should change the All-Star format. 1, with how the voting works, and 2, with how the positions work, because it's wrong.
It might have been Kenny that suggested this, but like do like 33, 33, 33,
Yeah, I
and
did
then
see
the
that.
1% to Adam Silver, so that he can just be like, no, Andrew Wiggins isn't starting.
Yeah.
Like whatever magical thing happens, he can just be like, no, it's not happening.
Exactly. Yeah, he could sneak in be an injury replacement or something.
He ain't
but,
starting.
Yeah,
But I did like how they didn't reveal who the All-Star. Like nobody knew
Yeah,
who
that
they
was
were.
really cool, because every year Shams or Woj will just leak
Ruin
it
it.
at some random point. As soon as they find out, they'll tweet it out. But yeah, they did it secretly this year, announced it live on TV, which is really cool. So we'll see who all gets into the All-Star game. I don't know when they're announcing the reserves. I would assume it's probably within the next few days. I forget when they do it after they announce the starters.
Are they gonna do
but
it like the same way? Like are they gonna have like a big
probably
TNT?
not. I would assume that will just be leaked or whatever,
Yeah.
because in 2 years, 3 years, we're not going to remember Andrew Wiggins as All-Star starter.
We're just gonna remember as
maybe
All-Star.
maybe because it's a meme, I guess we might, but he just was an All-Star. You know,
Yeah.
the starters doesn't matter. They try to make it seem like it matters, but when you are going into the Hall of Fame ceremony, it doesn't say 5-time All-Star starter, 6-time All-Star reserve.
Yeah, exactly. It
Doesn't
makes
matter.
no difference.
Yeah.
They
So
could
it's-
announce all 12 at one time.
Yeah.
Why don't they do that?
I know, it's
just
like
announce them.
Exactly. And then how about you just do your draft or whatever, and
Yeah.
the first 5 dudes that get drafted is your starting lineup.
Yeah, that's the way
No,
it should
actually,
be.
I don't mind how they do like the draft starters first. Is there any chance Wiggins doesn't get picked last in the starter
Mm-hmm.
draft?
Like, could you imagine Braun is like, shout out Cleveland, you were drafted there. Come here with the 8th pick.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. He's going to be the last guy
If
drafted.
Steph was a captain, like maybe,
Yeah.
maybe they would
But-
take him, but there's no way. It's LeBron and KD are the captains, so KD is probably going to get an injury replacement, but he still will be the captain for his team. So.
Braun is 4-0, I think, as a captain. I don't think
Really?
he's ever lost as a captain.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
I didn't even think I
Team
didn't
Braun
realize
is,
that.
he's like the most dominant all-star captain ever.
Who goes first? This is tough. Who goes? Because usually they'll kind of just pick whoever's like having the best season. It doesn't necessarily have to be the best player. Like Steph usually is the guy who might go first,
Yeah.
but like
I feel like
I
Bron-
could see Jokic or Embiid going first.
I feel like if KD's drafting, he's taking Jokic or Embiid first.
I
And
I
then
could see him
Braun is
taking Jokic.
Steph. I really
what about
do.
Giannis though? We're forgetting
Oh
about
my
Giannis.
God. Giannis
I
can't go
could see
second
some
round.
dude taking Ja Morant really high too.
He's
like,
a dog.
Yeah,
and it's his first year.
Exactly.
You want to go win the All-Star game? Put a first-year
like
All-Star
DeMar
in
and
there.
Wiggins are for sure the last 2 picks, right?
Yeah, and DeMar goes way in front of Wiggins. Like if there was like a whole 24-player draft, Wiggins is probably still the 24th.
Probably,
probably
yeah.
still like 24th or 22nd.
You're probably right, honestly, depending on who all gets in, unless some scrub somehow sneaks in the
Some
All-Star game.
scrub front court players like Mikal Bridges magically
I'm
gets in
taking him over
D-Book.
Wiggins.
Me no, probably not.
No. All right, let's move on, though, to the next news topic. We were talking about Hall of Fame. Let's talk about the MLB Hall of Fame. A couple nights ago, the Hall of Famers were announced in the MLB. MLB has one of the toughest Hall of Fames to get into. This was the last and final attempt that Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens had to get into the Hall of Fame. You have 10 years to get into the Hall of Fame. This is the 10th and final year. Both of them missed the Hall of Fame. largely due to the fact that they use performance-enhancing drugs throughout their careers. But this just caused a huge argument between analysts and guys who vote. You have to get 75% of the vote to get in, and Bonds got like just under 70. I don't know. Clemens was under Bonds, but it wasn't by a lot. These guys aren't in the Hall of Fame, which is just really crazy. Barry Bonds is the all-time leader in home runs in MLB history. He has 7 MVPs. Roger Clemens has 7 Cy Young awards, which no other pitcher has 3 or has more than 3 Cy Young awards. So these guys are 2 of the best players to ever play, and they are not in the Hall of Fame.
Barry Bonds is easily the greatest hitter ever. I mean, like, his on-base percentage alone makes him the greatest baseball player ever. Like, the greatest hitter ever, I should say.
And he was
And
when
7
he was
MVPs.
younger, he was an absolute ace at stealing bases too. So it's
Yeah.
like he's just this home run hitter. Like his career change was unreal. He was this speedster that just got a lot of hits to obviously steroids helped a little
Yeah.
bit, but started hitting
They
a lot of
definitely
home
helped with
runs.
home runs.
Yeah, and like we said, Roger Clemens, he pitched till he was like 44 years old. Like he pitched for so long, won a Cy Young award in his 40s. It's just unreal. These guys don't make the Hall of Fame.
Let baseball players juice, and like everybody was doing it.
Everybody is doing it.
Barry
These-
Bonds was just the best at it.
You can. I did a whole paper about
Oh, really?
steroids
This
in the
is
MLB,
interesting.
like for one of my classes a couple months ago, and the MLB was dying in the 90s before like the steroid era like became about. Like the MLB had the lowest ratings, no one was watching the MLB, and then all these dudes start coming and breaking records like Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. All these dudes are on roids. They knew it was happening, but they just let it happen because
Getting
the
ratings.
sport needed it. They needed these guys to save the sport, and now they have to pay for it. And it's just like, I don't understand how you cannot put them in the Hall of Fame if you're going to let them keep all their awards, keep all of their stats. Bonds is still the all-time leading home run hitter. Like, they're a part of history. They
Yeah.
are a part of your sport's history, and they aren't in the Hall of Fame.
Like, if their records and stuff count,
Yeah.
then they are in the Hall of Fame.
For sure.
Like, you just have a shitty Hall of Fame
Yeah,
if they're not
exactly.
in it. Like, it's just wrong. It's just straight up and down wrong.
Yeah.
If their stats still matter. I get if you took away all of Barry Bonds' 7 MVPs and banned him from the sport
Yeah, it'd be
forever.
different if you just erased them from the sport, you know? Which
Yeah.
would still be, that would cause a whole different thing, but
But it does
would-
happen in sports.
it would make your stance look a little stronger. Like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, you're really all about
No
not
juice.
forcing that, but you're going to let everything else stand, but no, you can't get in the Hall of Fame.
And 7 MVPs is ridiculous.
Yes.
That is like the craziest number I've ever heard.
7 MVPs.
7-time best player
And,
in MLB.
and winning the MVP in MLB is difficult. Like, to do it multiple times, it's hard.
There's
because
180 players who can win it
and
every
you
year.
have to have you have to have a 162 game season where you are really good the whole time.
That is wild.
There's guys that have crazy years that don't win. I mean, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. this year almost hit for the Triple Crown and didn't win MVP because Shohei Ohtani had such a crazy year. So it's really just weird that this happens. David Ortiz, shout out to him. He gets into the Hall of Fame in his first year eligible. He also did steroids at one point in his career. You know,
Shout
it's
out
just
Big
because
Papi.
it's just because Bonds and Clemens are known as these guys that did this.
They're like
but I'm pretty sure that, this is not 100% sure, but Bonds, I'm pretty sure the first 8 years of his career did not use PEDs at all. He was already like a 3-time MVP, like
already
led the
damn
league
near
in
Hall of
stolen
Famer.
bases, led the league in homers multiple years. Yeah, already had a great career.
Damn near could cut it off there and get
Yeah,
it in the
yeah,
Hall of
exactly.
Fame.
And like possibly get it. Yeah.
3 MVPs isn't quite like that. Isn't quite there. You gotta have a long career in the MLB, but he's like got a good resume
Yeah,
for it.
exactly. So it's Barry Bonds is not like he stepped into the MLB. The only reason he got in the MLB was because he was roiding the entire time.
Yeah.
Like that is just straight up not true. So I feel bad for the Bonds family because they were just showing a whole TV episode about this on ESPN, and back in like 2001, Bonds was talking about how when he makes the Hall of Fame, whenever he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, he was just talking about how they were asking him, like, do you think you're going to get in the Hall of Fame because of your use of PEDs? And this was back then when they knew it was going on. And
Was he still playing?
Yeah, he was still playing. And he was just like, yeah, I mean, it's a shame that I had to do this, but I'm a part of the sport. Like,
Yeah, you're part of history, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a stat the other day, and it was some really good hitter. It might have been Babe Ruth, and it was his on-base percentage, and it was like 380. And then it was like, if you take away all of Barry Bonds' home runs and just make his home runs fly outs, every single one, he has a 384 on-base percentage.
Jeez, Pete.
And it was like,
Yeah, because he also
that's
just got walked
ridiculous.
an insane amount,
Yeah.
too. So
there was a whole stat about
no one wants to pitch to him.
He's like the most walked player ever.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
So we'll see who gets, if this caused any controversy. There's still talk that these guys might have a chance to get in. I know that this was their last attempt, but they're saying that things might change eventually. Who knows?
You can't backtrack.
A lot
now.
of MLB analysts are really upset about this. Tim Kirchin was talking a lot about it. The MLB is just kind of a shit show right now because they're trying to get their season going. They held a meeting, the Players Association and the league did, like a week ago, or it was less than a week ago. I think it was the same day of the Hall of Fame, and nothing happened at all. Like nothing.
Yeah, they're not reaching
nothing
any
substantial
agreements.
happened. So it's looking like spring training is not going to start on time, and free agency is still frozen. So kind of sucks for the MLB. One of the MLB's top, what's his name? Ken Rosenthal, that's who it is. MLB Network, like one of the best analysts in MLB, got fired from MLB Network for just bashing Rob Manfred, the MLB commissioner, just saying how he's really bad at his job, and they fired him from MLB Network for it, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, you're going to have the reporter not speak his mind.
It's pretty obvious, too, that like Rob Manfred is a really bad commissioner. I mean, the players clearly don't like
the last two
playing
seasons
under
have been
him.
a shit show.
Yeah.
Like this last season with all
ever since COVID year.
the freaking goop on their hands and home runs and
juice balls,
no
and-
hitters.
yeah,
Like you're gonna
exactly.
allow them to juice the baseballs, but not juice their bodies.
There's so many. I just hope the MLB figures something out, but it's not looking good. Casey Mize was asked. I don't know if he was like someone was just interviewing him. They asked him about the Tigers offseason acquisitions, and they said, do you guys think you have a shot at making the playoffs this year? He said, I think playoffs is too little of a goal. I think we easily are a playoff team. I think World Series should be more of a goal for this team.
Hell
So
yeah, Casey.
that's
Mize.
what I like to hear. We'll see how good it goes, but we'll see if a season even happens for us to win. So
And it's a money thing that they're going through right now, right? It's how much the players are being
It's a money
paid.
thing, a ratings thing, ownership. It's mainly like an ownership thing. It's all just a mess with everyone. No one's happy. So we'll see. It's probably not going to get resolved at all. Let's move on to some NFL coach hirings. By the way, Big Ben did officially retire. Shout out to Big Ben.
Shout out Big Ben.
Excuse me.
No hate today. Just shout out Big Ben.
For real. But we got some coach hirings in the NFL. The Chicago Bears. First of all, they hired a GM that they was on their team as an undrafted free agent back in 2008,
I saw that.
which is really cool. But they hired the Colts defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus. I don't know how you say his name, but they hire him, so maybe their defense will be good again. Probably not. And then the Broncos hire a guy who is definitely one of the top coaching candidates, Packers offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett. This makes things very interesting because the Broncos have been one of those teams that's been tied to possibly acquiring Aaron Rodgers this offseason. And if they sign the Packers offensive coordinator to be their next head coach, it might look like something that could actually happen.
I'm really excited to see where all these coaches go. What is up with Michigan's offensive coordinator? He just left.
Oh, their defensive coordinator,
D
McDonald.
coordinator?
Yeah, he's headed back to Baltimore.
That's bigger news than anything ever to me. I just need. That made me really sad. I'm
Yeah.
really getting nervous all of a sudden about this whole
About
Jim Harbaugh thing.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Like it kind of seems like John Harbaugh let Mike McDonald come to Michigan for a year and then come back. Like he's gonna be the defensive coordinator for the Ravens now. So I mean, he came in, had a great defense, beat Ohio State, and left. Like
He said, "This
pretty
is how
good
you do
season.
it,"
Yeah.
and then left, and that is hell. Who are some other guys who are getting head coaching jobs? Who are gonna be getting head coaching jobs?
I mean, the Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy is always in talks for that. Buffalo's offensive coordinator, I don't know what his name is. I'm pretty sure he is a big talk guy. Brian Flores, Miami's coach, old coach, obviously is in. There's talks about him going to the Giants. Sean Payton steps down for the New Orleans Saints, so maybe he is going to look to coach somewhere else. I could also see him maybe taking a year off and then coming back. I'm trying to think of some other coordinators though that I heard about, but none that I can really think about right now.
That Chiefs guy's always an
Aaron Glenn, the Lions defensive coordinator, is being interviewed for the Saints head coaching job.
I did
That's
see that.
where he came from. So that would really suck if we
Yeah.
lost. I mean, I would be happy for him, obviously, but that would blow if we lost him because we need to have him for at least one more year to get this defense going.
Yeah, and he did such a good job this year
Yeah.
with so many injured players.
I mean, what was our final record?
3.
2-15-1 or 2-14-1, I think.
Yeah.
we are a team that went 2-14-1, and our first year defensive coordinators getting head coaching interviews.
That's how good our defense
Yeah,
was with
exactly.
6 starters.
That kind of shows you how maybe we might be onto something here as with the Lions. But hopefully Aaron Rodgers leaves the Green Bay Packers. I guess I can kind of segue us into our next topic. Packers lose to the San Francisco 49ers last Saturday. What a great day it was to see them lose, because it's the Detroit Lions' time in the NFC North.
Have we even talked about last week's playoffs?
No, we did our last episode last Friday.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned that.
I know, yeah. We
yeah.
go over that game first. But.
49. That game was awesome. The 49ers are so much fun to watch as a team. And this whole new Deebo Samuel, if he gets 6+ carries a game, or every game he's gotten 6 or more carries, and they win so
Really?
far this whole year. And they're
Wow.
which
That's
is
pretty
just
crazy.
wild. Deebo, and I mean, it's not that important of a stat in all honesty. It's
Yeah.
like it's just
Might
rushing
just be a
attempts.
coincidence.
Yeah, it's a total coincidence. But Deebo is just such a monster.
Yeah, that San Francisco offensive line really dominated that game. Talking about Green Bay, though, this is the 3rd straight year that they have disappointed in the playoffs. They've been the 1 seed 2 years in a row. They lost in 2 previous NFC Championship games the last 2 years. This year is only in the divisional round. They play at home in the cold, which they wanted. They talk all the time about how if they play at home in the playoffs, they're set to make the Super Bowl, and they're playing against a team from California. And they just sucked offensively. Their defense played pretty good. They were definitely holding San Francisco, but on offense, they really couldn't drive the ball that well. Aaron Rodgers did not even throw a touchdown in this game. A lot of forced passes to Davante Adams, where if you're the San Francisco defense, you kind of know that it's coming to Davante Adams. So this game is a really bad loss for Packers.
This was big time because all those complaints that Aaron Rodgers has had for the past few seasons, he couldn't complain about him anymore. I mean, after this game,
What's your excuse now?
it was on you, dude. Your defense held them to 13 points or 16, 13, right?
13, I think.
Yeah, 13 to 10, I think was final score.
Something like that, yeah.
13 points, and you couldn't get 1 touchdown, dude. You think you're the MVP of the game, and you're playing at home against a quarterback who's never played in sub 40-degree temperatures, and you get outplayed basically. I mean,
I would assume Jimmy played in New England when it was cold, but
that's what the announcers were saying.
Actually?
Yeah, the announcers
Really?
were saying it might have been his first start in sub 40-degree temperatures. That's
but still,
probably what it
though,
was.
yeah, like
It's just ridiculous for you to lose that game. It was snowing and everything. Like, it was a Green Bay game.
Yeah.
And you blow it.
yeah,
Totally
the Packers
blow.
are just they're a disappointment, man. It's awesome to see. Like
It's so cool.
going on Twitter after the game. Just everyone is just dissing on the Packers, dissing on Aaron Rodgers. I think this is the end. Right immediately after the game, Aaron Rodgers is already saying how, yeah, a lot of guys are up for new contracts. I'm not trying to be here, part of a rebuild. There's a lot of things that need to be, a lot of decisions have to be made in the front office. Like pretty much saying, all right, either bring everyone back and go even more into cap hell than you already are, or I'm gone.
Yep.
And I assume the I'm gone route is the way they're going to go.
Yeah, I would be happy. I'd be fine if he just retired. Like, didn't even go anywhere. Just retired.
He's either going to retire or go play somewhere else. I don't think there's any way that he plays for Green Bay next year.
My favorite part of this whole year is the whole year Devontae and Aaron Rodgers were playing this like villain role. We are the villains. You know, we're too badass. We're going to be jackasses all year. You ask us a question, we're going to answer it like an asshole. And yeah, you do that, buddy. Look where that got you.
How'd it turn out?
First game of the playoffs, you're done. You're gone. Dude,
You lose to the Super Gremlins, the 49ers.
saw a tweet, and it was like, as a 49ers fan, even though we didn't even draft Aaron Rodgers, he's gifted us 4 playoff wins.
I did
and
see
it's like,
that.
absolutely. He
One of them
totally
to go
has.
into the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, it's hilarious. But the Packers, they might be headed towards a rebuild. Like, legitimately, they might be. They lost their offensive coordinator, obviously, but they have a lot of their best players are up for new deals. Davante Adams being the top guy. He's an unrestricted free agent. Rodgers technically has 1 year left on his deal, but I'm pretty sure it's easily tradable. So they're obviously going to get assets back for trading Aaron Rodgers, a good amount of them, because he is still probably going to win the MVP award. Playoffs have nothing to do with it. So the Packers could be headed towards a rebuild. Minnesota, Kirk Cousins wants out. Chicago sucks. I mean, it is opening the door for the Lions to possibly, I don't want them to overpay and make stupid decisions in this free agency, but at the same time, we do have a chance to possibly win the division for the first time in 30 years next year.
And easily like get into the playoffs, which would just be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love it.
Imagine if we won the division next year.
Yeah, 2-year rebuild.
That has happened one time ever. Like, it would be so awesome if we did.
Oh my God, what sad fans we are.
Home playoff game in Detroit.
Oh, would we go?
We would have to.
I don't know if we'd have the funds.
I think we would have to come up with it.
Yeah, we'd have
to
to
start a fundraiser or something like
bake sale.
We are there. Well, okay, if we're not at Ford Field,
we're in
Detroit. We're at the tailgate. We're figuring out a spot to watch the game. I'll be 21 by then.
Oh,
you won't be, but we'll figure something out.
We'll work it out.
It's gonna be so like okay. I'm talking about it like it's gonna happen, but we will witness a home playoff game in Detroit in our lifetime.
You know what? Actually, leave it. Wait till 2 years. Just don't do it next year. Let me be 21 so I can just go to a B-dubs and just make it easy.
We'll figure it out. But, yeah, Green Bay loses to the San Francisco 49ers. The other game that was last Saturday, Tennessee-Cincinnati. I only got to watch, like, the late part of this game, but another game that just came down to the absolute wire. A couple questionable interceptions and calls late in this game, but Cincinnati ends up pulling it out and defeating the Titans.
Yeah, which another awesome game. And Money Mac, the most confident kicker in the whole world, says to Joe Burrow, it looks like we're going to the AFC Championship game, buddy.
What was it, like 52-yarder, I think, too?
And
like,
just
not really a routine field goal, but rookie kicker. Like,
and Daft, he went 4 for 4 in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be the most odd draft to work out so well. I mean, you draft a kicker. Rarely do you do that.
Yeah.
And he just balls out in your playoff game.
And you also took Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell when everyone was saying you shouldn't have done it. And I love Sewell. Like, he's been really good for the Lions. I'm happy he's on the Lions, but it looks like the Bengals might have made the right pick.
And Jamar is just an absolute baller. I mean,
Yeah.
clearly they did. Clearly they did.
I mean, Jamar Chase came into the league and he's a top 10 wide receiver. Like,
they're in the playoffs.
Yeah,
like,
they are one game away from the Super Bowl.
Winning games.
Shout out to the Bengals, man, because I know we talked about them last week, how they won their first playoff game in so long, but like, I am just so jealous of Bengals fans and the way that the Bengals have turned their franchise around. Like, they not only are setting themselves up to be good this year and possibly, win a Super Bowl, make the Super Bowl, but they are setting themselves up to be great for the next so many years. I mean, these young QBs we have in the NFL they're so good at such a young age, and it's like we are set up for greatness in the NFL for the next so many years.
Yeah, I mean, we already have the next crop of great QBs who are changing the game. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, granted.
Herbert. Burrow, yeah.
Oh
Lamar still. And Lamar's like 23 or 24.
Just so many young guys
He's older
who
than that,
are going to dominate.
Yeah, still.
And I mean, Lamar's still young.
Yeah,
People play
exactly.
till they're 40. I mean, Tom Brady's 44.
Yeah. Rodgers is damn near 40. So, like I said, or I guess I haven't said it on here, but we're definitely going to do our like QB rankings because it's so difficult to. I did it with one of my friends from work. Shout out Ryan from work. So hard. Like it took me like a half an hour to rank, but we did like every single starting quarterback. And I think I'm still going to change things by the time that we do our list because it'll be once the season's over. But even ranking like wide receivers because there's so many young guys that have stepped in and been so good already. Like,
yeah, I'm dreading running backs and wide receivers.
yeah, I think wide receivers is going to be hard.
The top
Running backs
10.
is like, it'll be hard, I think, but they're all pretty in the, like, there's the top guys and then they're all kind of right there. Wide receivers, though, there's so many good wide receivers.
25 good wide receivers in the NFL
like really
right
good
now.
wide receivers for
like,
sure.
It is ridiculously
And like, where's
hard.
Michael Thomas at? We haven't seen him in a year and a half. Where's D-Hop? D-Hop was, he's skill-wise, he's probably top 5 still, but he had a down year last year. So, like, where does he go? It's really, really
Where's
tough.
guys who started off hot and then went slow? Where's a guy like DJ Moore go?
Yeah.
I mean, DJ Moore had a
Terry
great
McLaurin
start of the
had
year.
a down year this past year. Like, is he top 10 receiver?
Jalen Waddle had a great end of the year, but he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But Jamar Chase is a rookie, and he's absolutely nuts. So
It's so tough.
We'll
Justin
see.
Jefferson's top 5 for sure.
Easily.
Top 30.
I think easily, yeah. Let's move on to the games that were on Sunday, though. Tom Brady versus Matt Stafford. This game was a showdown. The Rams got off to such a hot start, and they got a big lead, but you can never count out Tom Brady in the playoffs as the Bucs make an unreal comeback. The Rams were trying to let Tampa win this game as they fumbled 4 times, I think. None came
Cam
from
Akers twice.
Yeah, none came from Matt Stafford. Just want to put that out there. No turnovers from the GOAT. And the Bucks end up tying this thing up, but it does not matter because Stafford with, 40 seconds on the clock, chucks the ball, no timeouts, chucks it deep to Cooper Kupp. Clock it. Run it up to the line, and the Rams get the kick and win the game. What an awesome moment this was for Lions fans. If you're a Rams fan, obviously I assume it was great for you. But for Matt Stafford fans like us, it felt like we won a playoff game.
Yeah. No, I mean, we were cheering like we did. We were
I was going
ballistic.
nuts when Kupp caught
What was
that.
funny is we all stood up and went, clock
Yeah,
it.
like you see that video of that dude. Yeah, like
And
that was
we literally did
That is
did
literally exactly what we were doing.
Yeah, all of us. Like we were
Like,
and I didn't even realize I didn't realize why I was saying clock it like that until
Just 'cause of when
I'm
he did
sitting there
it,
on
yeah.
Twitter and it's like, oh my God, I'm just quoting
This is
Stafford.
exactly what Stafford did like 8 years ago. Yeah.
Clock it. And like the voice cracks and everything are hilarious.
Riley.
It was just awesome seeing him do this on a huge stage because for so long people just assumed they were garbage stats.
Empty stats.
And he just did it on the biggest stage
Blah,
in
blah.
the NFL.
He plays in Detroit. Yeah, exactly. He plays in Detroit. That's why he never got the recognition that he deserves, and now he is getting that on a big stage. Shout out Matt Stafford, man, beating Tom Brady in the Bucks. And now, is Tom Brady going to retire?
I hope not, but it's really leaning towards, I mean, like you mentioned the other day when we were playing hoops, he's 44 years old. He didn't win a Super Bowl. He doesn't have a contract next year.
He does, I'm pretty sure. I think he has one because he signed an extension
does he?
last year, I'm pretty sure. Like, I think he has one more year left on the deal, so. But still, he could still retire if he
And
wants.
listening to him talk for the last few years, it's always been whether or not am I at Super Bowl. You know, obviously I can play in the league and know I'm a good quarterback.
Right.
But can I win Super Bowls? That's when he stops playing football. Is when he quits winning Super Bowls, not when he quits being good, because that might never happen.
Yeah.
He might be 60.
Pretty clear that he's still good.
Yeah, he might be 60 before he's a bad quarterback. And he didn't win a Super Bowl. And he didn't play great. I mean, obviously they had a big comeback.
Yeah, and he led their great comeback.
Yeah,
like,
he
he for
did.
sure had a good game. And as much as people want to say, oh, Tom Brady, he's the most overrated QB, his defense carries him.
shut
Like,
up.
there is a reason that Tom Brady doesn't lose in the playoffs. He will lose, but it will be a tight game to the end. He'll be getting blown out. His team will come back. Like, he is always in a game. And he's just the greatest game manager ever. Like, easily he is. He knows how to win football games. He might not do a sidearm, 70-yard, no-look, close my eyes pass like Rodgers or Mahomes, but he's going to win football games.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that what the greatest should do? So I hope he comes back because it would be a shame for him to go out like this kind of unexpectedly. Like you said, or we were talking about, like, him being 44 shouldn't make it unexpected, but it would just be a shame for him not to get a farewell tour, like how all these other stars do when they retire in all sports. In the NFL, we knew when Phillip Rivers was retiring. We
facts.
kind of knew when Drew Brees was. We kind of knew when Big Ben was. D. Wade and Kobe in the NBA, we knew when them dudes were retiring. Dirk.
Paul Pierce ain't getting no farewell tour.
Yeah,
We knew it was
they
his
don't
last
love you
year.
like that,
They don't
but-
love him like that.
Yeah, but like other than
Yeah.
Paul Pierce, all the real stars,
yeah.
they announce when they're going to retire at the beginning of the year, and I think that Brady would have to do that. Like, it would make
Yeah.
all the away games so much more special.
Everything.
It would make everything way better. So it would be odd for him to retire right now. But if he does, he's still the GOAT. I don't think he has anything else to prove to anyone.
Me either. What do you think of spiders?
Spiders?
Yeah.
They're all right.
There's one right there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. Eh.
I'm going to kill it. It's bugging me really badly.
Oh, it's bugging you. Good
funny.
one.
You're funny.
I don't know. Spiders, they're scary. If it's a big spider, I do not like it.
And it's upside down.
I wonder if the people on camera could. I don't think they can. It's upside down. Yeah, if spider's upside down, it's way scarier.
Oh.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I did not like that.
Attaboy.
Not one bit. Protecting you. I got you.
Thank you. But yeah, the Rams move on, and Tom Brady is eliminated. We'll know more about Tom Brady retiring eventually. But if Brady retires, Gronk is also going to retire for sure. Let's move on to the Sunday night game of last week, because this Rams-Bucks game, we were talking, this might be one of the best playoff games I've seen, or it's easily the best one of this playoffs. And the KC Buffalo was like, hold my beer, bro. This is we're going to make this
Watch me.
game the craziest game ever. Like, literally, this game, I don't even know if it's just the craziest playoff game ever. I think the stakes of it being in the playoffs makes it the greatest game I've ever watched.
It was unreal. The fourth quarter of that game was such a roller coaster of just ups and downs and ups and downs. What a great quarterback matchup that we get to watch for the next, hopefully, 10 years.
For real.
I want to see
dudes
Mahomes,
are probably the
the
number 1 and 2. They're for sure top 3 QBs in the NFL. You can argue, I guess, but
Top 5.
2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. 100% going at it. The Bills want revenge. Mahomes has never lost a play. Or wait, Mahomes has never played a playoff game on the road. Isn't that unreal?
That
His
is
whole career.
wild.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I mean, he's only been around for, 4 years?
This is his 4th year
starter.
Yeah, because he
Fifth
can make
year.
3 straight Super Bowls. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is his 4th year as a starter. Yes. Never played in a away playoff game.
That
which
is
wild.
wild.
But yeah, like this game was absolutely crazy. The Chiefs looking to go back to the Super Bowl again, make their 4th straight AFC Championship game. Like I said, the Bills wanted revenge. This game went down to the wire. I mean, Josh Allen made Gabriel Davis look like wide receiver 1 in fantasy next year. 4 touchdowns. That route that Gabe Davis had.
Oh my God.
I forget who he broke. It might have been Ward, but oh my God.
Toasted him.
Absolutely, like one of the that's one of them clips that you see it and you just go, oh, like,
Like,
you
he
make a
dropped
facial
him.
expression
Yeah.
when you see that play.
That's a don't make the face type highlight video.
Oh my God.
God, bro.
But this game was absolutely crazy. Went to overtime. The Chiefs, with 13 seconds left, managed to get into field goal range. Pretty easy field goal range, too, and tie it up. And then they win the toss and win the game. Obviously, there's a lot of debate about overtime rules and
Josh
they
Allen
should
do
be
not
changed.
care.
Josh Allen, yeah, he said that it's not, we would have been celebrating if we would have won the toss, too. So he's not that mad about it. Obviously, I think a part of him has got to be a little upset because he didn't even get a chance in overtime. Even Andy Reid the other day said that, yeah, there probably should be both offenses should get a chance to win their game for their team after they won the game.
It's
which
so
is,
obvious.
Which is true.
It's so stupid that the fans have to sit here and go, yeah, clearly the offenses both need a shot. Yeah, no shit. Like, I've never heard somebody speak such obvious things and it not be changed. It's been a problem for 2 seasons.
I have such mixed opinions about the overtime rules in the NFL because I understand why they are how they are. They are in place to get the game over with. They're not in to get a whole nother 15-minute quarter played. Like, they are meant so that the game gets over with. It's overtime. Like,
Yeah.
The NFL is a really long game, and it's a tiring sport, obviously.
It's football, yeah.
Wears down on your body. You don't want these guys playing for longer than they need to. So I understand, the whole you get a touchdown. If you have a great defense, you kind of almost don't want to win the toss. You want to get a 3 and out, and then all you have to do is get a field goal to win the game. So like I do understand the rules, but when it happens like this, when 2 high-powered offenses that have just been unstoppable match up and it goes to overtime, it's like we literally said team that wins a toss is winning the game. Like 100%.
It's over.
And that's exactly what happens. So I do think they should explore looking how to change it, but I don't know how you do because obviously you could say the college rules. The college rules are great, but they're great for college. I don't think they would be great for the NFL. You'd have to start them out at a different yard line because kickers are way better in the NFL anyways. Maybe if you start each team at like the 50-yard line and they have a chance to score, maybe you could do it that way.
Not a bad idea.
But-
Not awful.
A lot of time, college overtimes will go to 3-4 overtimes because they'll just match what the other team does. So that makes the game last way longer than they want. It's
they'll
really
just
difficult.
Kick a field goal. They'll
Yeah.
just, we'll just kick it. It's just
It's
no
really
big deal.
tough to think of, but a game should also never end in a tie. And I don't know, didn't we look up what the rules would be if those 2 teams were still tied at the end of, isn't it just another period, like another 10-minute quarter?
I never looked
Because
it up.
obviously in the playoffs, you can't tie.
Yeah.
So
what happens in
So
the playoffs?
why don't you just make that your rule in the
Yeah.
regular season too, so a team doesn't tie?
fix it?
Yeah, a team should never tie. That is completely stupid. But as far as changing the overtime rules, I don't know. It's tough. I feel bad for Bills fans 100%. Like, I would be so upset if that happened to my team. But at the same time, I understand why it's like that. But it does suck. Like,
in
I
all-
just wish there was an
Yeah.
easier way, though.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't a coin toss or something. And in all reality, it's just like because I'm imagining myself as a Lions fan, and we've lost to the 49ers last year, and we're gonna come back. We're playing really well this game, and you lose the coin toss, and you go, well, shit,
We just lost.
and like then you're just sad, and like because you know you have literally no chance unless your defense plays well, which like I get, that's the argument.
Yeah.
Well, your defense needs to be better. That's not how it works when you have two really good offenses and bad defenses. That's not. I mean, granted, Bills don't have a bad defense.
Yeah.
Chiefs do.
But like, it's not even that they both have they both have pretty solid defenses. It's just their offenses are so good that
You can't stop
it
them.
makes their defense look bad.
Yeah, absolutely. So it just really sucks. I feel so bad for Bills fans. I really
Yeah.
do, and Josh Allen for that matter.
For sure, yeah. I mean, Josh Allen balled out not only in this game but in this postseason. In the 2 games he had 2 unreal games.
Like
I really
9
wish.
touchdowns.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I really wish that he could have gotten to play a full postseason because he could have had potential to have one of the greatest postseasons ever. If his team would have went on to win a Super Bowl and he still put up these godlike numbers, I mean, it would have been unreal. So I hope the Bills are back next year. Like you said the other day, maybe the Bills game is a game we eye to go to next year. That would be pretty hype.
I'd be hype.
We'll see. But let's talk about the games this week. Sunday at 3 o'clock, AFC Championship game, the Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, wait, should we do weekly pick song?
Yeah,
Might as well.
I mean,
Last time this
shit.
Weekly picks, it's the weekly picks. It's the high tempo weekly NFL picks.
It is the high tempo weekly NFL picks.
Just
playoff
quote the
edition.
song.
Playoff edition, AFC Championship, Cincy at Kansas City. Who you got?
I got Kansas City. If Cincy turns their season around, or has the greatest season turnaround ever, or the greatest turnaround season ever. Is what I'm trying
I
to
get
say.
what you're trying to say, yes.
I'd be so happy, but I've got the Chiefs winning. I'm going a safe pick here. I got Chiefs.
I'm going with the Chiefs too. I'm not like rooting for the Bengals, but like obviously it would be awesome to see the Bengals win, but I'm not like rooting against the Chiefs. I want to
No.
see a great game.
I wanna
the
see a good
Chiefs going
Super
to
Bowl,
3
too.
straight Super Bowls also would be pretty unreal for us to watch, especially how poorly the Chiefs started the year.
What happens if Patrick Mahomes starts off 1-2 in the Super Bowl on his career? It's a bad start.
You might as well retire.
It's a bad look. That's what they said about LeBron. He's not that good. He loses.
Yeah, exactly. You lose in the finals, he's not the GOAT. There's no way he would ever
might as
have
well
a
not even
chance.
make playoffs
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
point. You're better off missing playoffs.
I hate people like that. Yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs, though. I just think the Chiefs' offense is too overpowered for the Bengals to beat them. However, about like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, the Bengals did beat the Chiefs in the regular season when Jamar Chase had his unreal game. So if that's what it takes to beat the Chiefs,
Do it again.
get ready, Jamar. You're in for a big game. So I'm going with Chiefs, though. Next game on Sunday, 6:30, we have Battle of the NFC West teams, San Francisco 49ers at the LA Rams.
What a fun final game in the NFC Championship. These are two teams that I think majority of the country loves. Like, I know 49ers have a huge fan base. I mean, they got the problem in LA where last time they played the Rams,
Yeah.
it was all red.
Even in Lambeau last week, there was,
it was
hella Niners fans there.
I mean, Niners fans are everywhere
Yeah.
across the entire country. And you got the Rams, who are just LA team. They're the LA boys. I am so pumped for this football game to see Stafford in an NFC Championship hopefully he's wearing at least a little blue, representing
Let's
a little
go.
bit. I'm so pumped for this game, and I am taking the Rams 1,000%.
Rams for sure. Stafford jersey will be on.
Mm-hmm.
If Stafford makes the Super Bowl, it's gonna be nuts. Like, it's gonna be so awesome. Year out of Detroit, the first year out of Detroit, he's in the Super Bowl.
It'd be awesome.
What?
I feel so validated.
I would feel so validated, but I would just feel so like, man, we suck, bro.
We were horrible.
But like, I'm not that. It would be different if like we didn't have like a promising, in quotations for you listeners, promising rebuild currently right now. I feel like we have a pretty promising rebuild with the current team we have.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I was okay with us trading Stafford, so that's why I would be so happy about Stafford winning, where I'm not salty about it or anything. Yeah, it sucks that we could never do that, but maybe we'll win. We'll make a Super Bowl and play against him in the NFC Championship game in a few years.
Maybe. I mean,
Probably not. But
And here's the thing: we never had Jalen Ramsey. We never had Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
We never had Von Miller.
we never were able to build this super team
Like-
in Detroit. They're
Yeah.
in Los Angeles. Like
They're in L.A.
they
baby.
can do that. We can't do that in Detroit. maybe Dan Campbell will pull some cards at some point in his career, but I doubt it.
Yeah, never. We got to win games with our rookie contracts and
Exactly.
a
And
couple
trades.
and a couple dogs who just
Yeah.
like to be dogs.
Exactly. So, but I'm going Rams. This is going to be a great game. These two teams. Did the Niners sweep the Rams this season? Obviously, they won that last game of the year when the Rams
Did they
choked.
beat them the first time?
That's what I don't.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't remember at
I
all.
think the Niners might have swept the Rams. So,
Rams swept Cardinals, right?
no, I think they split,
They split.
and then the Rams obviously won in the playoffs. But yeah, I'm going with the Rams. But the Niners. Imagine if it was Niners Bengals Super Bowl.
It would be pretty.
It would just be like who let
Yeah.
this happen?
Yeah,
Like,
it's one of those
you
things.
couldn't rig it like a
and
little bit.
That's one of the problems. Like, as much as I want the Bengals to make
Yeah.
it, it's like it is still the Bengals. Like, I wouldn't love it. Obviously, the Bengals.
It would be
fans
cool
love
though
it.
to see like
Yeah,
Joe
a new
Burrow in them
team.
in it. Yeah, but like Bengals Niners.
No, Jimmy G would
How about
just.
Chiefs Rams? That sounds a little.
Yeah, that sounds way
a little
better.
more realistic.
Yeah.
But who knows? Well, obviously it would be sick to see. So yeah, I'm going with the Rams as well. Let's move on to a quick college basketball segment. Michigan State lost to Illinois this past Tuesday after defeating Wisconsin last week, and we head back home to East Lansing this Saturday tomorrow to take on Michigan, who is kind of rolling right now. They've won a couple games in a row, conference games.
Big
Game is
one
at
against
12:30.
Northwestern.
Yep, they had a nice comeback win against Northwestern. Caleb Houston was Big Ten Freshman of the Week, his first time getting that award this year. And this is going to be a good game. I don't know who's going to win, honestly, because Michigan's looked good. MSU, if we were going to play this game coming off of that Wisconsin game, I would say MSU's going to win easily. But then we lost to Illinois without Kofi Coburn and without Andre Curbelo. So a game we should not have lost.
This game is going to be so much fun as long as it's not a blowout. I'm rooting for
I
a
don't
close
think it
game.
will be.
I don't think it will be either. But there's always that lingering fear that, like this season, I should say that Michigan takes a step back to what they were doing earlier in the year, and State can easily just step up and play like they were earlier in the year. And
but
that's
the
a
fact
blowout.
that State turns the ball over so
So
much really makes it difficult for us to blow out any team. I mean, we are going to turn the ball over. Like
Yeah.
whether even in that game against Wisconsin where we won we just had a great game and won. We turn the ball over still a lot. Like that's just what we do, and it sucks that it's like that because you aren't going to blow teams out when you're turning over. You're going to
Yeah.
give up a lot of fast break points.
2 straight years of turnover issues in Michigan
Yeah.
State, which is odd for an Izzo-led
I
team.
mean, we don't have Cassius Winston, so that's the start of it. We don't
Yeah.
have this elite guard. Tyson
Absolutely.
Walker has been really good this year. He did play poor against Illinois. A lot of people are turning on Tyson Walker strictly off of this one game he played bad. He's been really good for us all year. AJ Hogard has been kind of up and down. He's had his good games, his bad games, but I like Walker as our main guard. I'm excited to see Christie versus Houston. I think that's going to be a fun matchup. And we need Malik Hall to continue to play how he's been because he's been one of our best players. And Bingham versus Dickinson is going to be a
Gonna be
really
awesome.
exciting matchup too. 'Cause
So good.
Bingham, this game has potential to move to third all time in blocks in MSU history.
Yeah, I
so.
saw that tweet you liked. Trust
Yeah.
me, I saw that.
Isn't
tweet.
that crazy? The Jaron Jackson one.
yeah, that's the tweet I
unreal.
saw. That
He's
is crazy.
Yeah, like he's almost. I don't even know how many blocks it was. I think like 106.
106.
Yeah. And what's Bingham got? 140, I think.
Yeah, and Bingham's been there
Bingham's
for,
is in his senior year this
Yeah.
year.
and Jaron Jackson
Jaron played
did it
one
year.
single year at Michigan State.
and it's like probably 7th on all-time blocks.
he's
list.
probably top 10. I would assume. Maybe not. There's a lot of guys that have played.
Yeah, and,
so
there are probably a lot of guys around that 130 range.
probably. But still, like in a single season, that has to be the most ever for sure.
No, I think the
At
Duke.
Michigan State,
Oh
I
yeah,
meant.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
It-
easily.
it has to be, yeah.
Easily. Who did
And
it?
by
at-
a freshman.
Who did it at? Was it at Kentucky? Oh, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis.
Oh
averaged,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
4 a
Yeah, he
game
had
or
more
something
than like
ridiculous.
He had more than any program in
Yeah.
Division One.
He was
him
wild.
himself. Yeah.
He was ballistic
For
that
sure.
season.
Let's move on, though, to NBA talk. We said we wanted to do the list at the beginning of the episode, so I really hope the YouTube video is working. But since we're already this late in the episode, let's talk about a couple other NBA things first. Let's talk about the Rookie of the Year, Cade Cunningham, the other night against the Denver Nuggets, had 34 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and 4 blocks. Only other rookie to do that ever was the second greatest player ever, Michael Jordan. So,
You have been throwing that around a lot lately. Like the whole you've been really vocal about how LeBron is easily the greatest player.
he's
now.
not. I mean, it's mainly just for jokes because old heads get so mad. And I feel like LeBron fans don't get as mad
No,
when
it's
you
like-
say MJ's the GOAT.
Well, because if we get mad, then we're soft, and we're
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean.
But you say LeBron's the GOAT. No, he didn't impact the game the same way that. I have one of my professors, super cool guy, awesome, but he is your typical old head.
You saw truth with
LeBron's a
him.
pussy. He,
Bitches at raps.
He didn't impact the game the same way Michael Jordan and Bill Russell did. Literally talking about stuff like that. I was just like, okay, the guy. I'm not gonna talk about basketball with you. But let's get back to Cade Cunningham. Absolute great performance from him the other night. Career high in points for him, obviously. He has looked really good in the last several weeks.
It was like his third straight game where it looked like he was going to get 30, and he actually just did that time. Cade has been unreal on this tear that he's going on. Easily the rookie of the year.
For sure.
Not even, it's not even that close, right now. I wouldn't say it's close at all. I know he's, technically number 2 on the list or number 3. That's bullshit.
But when I say he's easily the rookie of the year, I don't really mean, right now.
Yeah,
I mean just,
year.
at the end of the year, he's going to be the rookie of the year.
Yeah,
with how good he's playing at this moment, Evan Mobley can be good. But he is not the guy on his team. Cade Cunningham is our best player, and it's not even, close.
And now he's dominating.
If Cade
He's in a
Cunningham
groove.
doesn't play, we've had 2 straight games against the Denver Nuggets who, yes, they're beat up, but they have Nikola Jokic, who might be the best guy in the league right now. We've had 2 straight games of almost beating them, staying toe-to-toe with them. If Cade doesn't play, we get killed by 30, 100%. And Jeremy Grant is hurt. If Jeremy Grant was playing, I still think he would be our best player, but I still think we do need to move. It's kind of a debate on what we need to do with Jeremy Grant now, because with Cade playing so well as the main guy, it's hard to envision a world where Jeremy Grant comes back and is like, all right, here you go, Jeremy. You're the main guy again. Cade will take your back seat
Cade's
to you.
just had 430 balls.
We can't do that.
No.
We can't. All right, Jeremy, here you go. Run an ISO play, 4 straight plays in a row.
Shoot 16% on ISO looks.
Yeah.
Come on.
I still
dude.
love Jeremy Grant though.
Yeah, shout out Jeremy Grant. He's just not. I want him to go back to what he used to play when he was in Denver.
Yeah, but to a certain extent, last year with the Pistons,
Yeah, he's the in
I
between.
liked watching him last year. It's
Yeah.
just this year he just started off not nearly as efficient. It was way more ISOs, and it was okay, last year it was okay because 1, you were making them a lot more, and 2, we didn't have Cade. Now we have Cade, and it's okay, this is kind of his team now. You can be the duo, but
That's just it. He needs to go back to that little bit, the off-ball, really talented off-ball scorer.
And Jeremy's healthy again. They've called him back up from the G League. They haven't listed him as active in any games yet, and I don't think they're going to. But he's healthy, so it's we kind of have to make a decision on because we don't have to trade him. I'm not saying we have to trade him right now at the deadline. We can do it in the offseason. I don't want to extend him to that huge deal he wants, but if they do it, I trust Troy Weaver. So I would rather them not, but I just think it would be best to trade Jeremy Grant. The Kings today, they backed out of Ben Simmons talks, and now they are really in on Jeremy Grant. I've talked about a potential Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley for Jeremy Grant type
tweeted
deal.
all over.
I would like that.
Me too.
I would like that.
Give us 1 pick with it.
Yeah, give us a pick too. That would be a little too much money coming in for us, so we would have to give you Josh, or let's give him back Corey Joe. Corey Joe has dug himself trade value, or at least played himself into some trade value. He's our best 3-point shooter. He's shooting 44%. He's been really good since he's been starting lately, and this is the first time in 2 years of us having Corey Joe that I am happy Corey Joseph is starting and Killian Hayes is coming off the bench, because Killian Hayes looks good running the second unit.
Yeah, he
and
does.
It's refreshing to see him play more confidently. And
I wouldn't mind getting rid of Josh Jackson on the other hand.
Yeah, you
Just
can get
'cause
rid of
he gets,
Josh.
He gets tossed every game.
Rodney McGruder, he gets literally,
Just get rid of him. He doesn't play
Yeah.
for the team hardly.
McGruder has given himself trade value since the other trade voided. I mean, I wouldn't do that trade right now if we had to do it again.
No.
McGruder's way better than Bol Bol. I mean, that dude is balling.
Bol Bol literally can't play.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like we have a couple guys that, and even like Trey Lyles, I would rather keep him because he has been good for us. Like my opinion on Trey Lyles has
We
definitely
can't get
flipped.
rid of him.
But he's given himself some trade value as well.
We
Like,
can't do that,
A team
though.
could always use a nice backup big. That
Yeah, us. We.
Yeah, true. But Olynyk,
Pistons.
and Olynyk, of course, as soon as he comes back from injury, plays 2 games, health and safety protocol.
Yeah.
So
Bullshit.
We'll see if he comes back tonight. They take on the Orlando Magic tonight. Super excited to watch that game because it's 2 young teams going at it. Like we got Cole Anthony versus Killian, Cade versus Suggs, Franz versus Sadiq,
And then
Wendell Carter or Mo Bamba versus
this is beef stew.
Beef Stew. So we'll see what happens with the game tonight. But I'm super excited. We'll see what happens with a potential trade with Jeremy Grant too.
Yep.
So
We'll see who's in better rebuild shape after tonight. That's
yeah,
what we'll do.
Exactly. So let's do the NBA MVP race updated. Disclaimer once again. This list is really, really hard. So if your list is different than ours, that's okay.
Just comment it.
Just say
comment
what
it.
yours is. We don't care. That's fine that yours is different.
We'll probably comment back and be like, "This is cool."
Yeah, that's
Cool
valid.
list.
Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
But if
I get
it's
that.
something stupid,
Yeah, then I'm calling you out.
then you're getting blocked.
If you have Andrew Wiggins in your top 5, blocked.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it's kind of hard right now too because certain guys are injured, so that kind of
Yeah.
messes up the. But this is. I remember at the beginning of the year we were saying like it's a 4-man race right now with Jokic, KD, Giannis,
like a
and
6-man
Curry.
race now.
And now it's like, oh, it's some of them guys I just said aren't even on my list. So, it's really tough. I was gonna talk about like who's the best team in the East right now, but we can just get to this MVP race. I mean, the East is so tight right now at the moment.
1 game race.
Yeah, Miami
6
Heat
teams
are the
down.
best team, but you have the Bucks and the Nets and the Bulls that are all right there.
The Heat are close too, I think, right?
The Heat are
like
the
2
1 seed.
Oh, you said that. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't
The
know.
Cavs are right there
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
Cavs are right there in that mix. So it's tight right now in the East. Let's talk about the MVP race. You got any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I got 2.
All right, go ahead.
And it is odd saying these 2 dudes because they have been stellar this year. Well, one of them has been unreal. John Morant is an honorable mention for me. He's like number 1 honorable mention. And the next guy is Steph Curry, who's just been in such a slump lately. And I think I'm biased as he is on my fantasy team, so it definitely like
He
brings
has
in.
been in a big time slump.
Yeah,
though.
I mean he's not shooting the ball as well. And
Yeah.
part of that's probably Draymond
The Warriors
being
are
out.
losing games. Yeah, that is because Draymond is out, but
Just chalk it right up. Steph not shooting well. Chalk it up to Draymond being
it's
out.
your fault, Draymond. Get healthy now.
And those are my 2 honorable mentions. You got some?
Yeah, I have a few. KD didn't make my list strictly because he's
Injury.
hurt. If he was playing, he definitely would still be on here. Steph Curry is an honorable mention. LeBron is an honorable mention. It was really tough to leave LeBron off the list, but he is also an honorable mention. I threw DeMar in there too, just to show him some love, but he did not make my list.
Number 5 for me is DeMar DeRozan.
Okay.
In my opinion, he's the guy with the most like MVP moments this season. You know, the game winners
Facts, yeah.
that he's hit and the complete turnaround of the Chicago Bulls once he got there. To me, that screams valuable player. They have a winning record when Levine and Vooch are out. But when DeMar DeRozan is out, they have a losing record. That is a big-time deal, and DeMar DeRozan is that guy. He is the guy. The man, you might even
What is
say.
the
The more I say it,
yeah,
the
that's
less
how
I
I was
like
trying to
it.
think of the commercial with Drake. Yeah, it's pretty crazy that DeMar DeRozan came into Chicago with Levine and Vooch already there, and it was like, yeah, I'm gonna be the best player
This is
on
my
this team.
team.
Lonzo comes in too, like, yeah, Lonzo, that could be part of their big 3. Nah, DeMar,
team.
I'm gonna be the best player.
It's my team, guys.
Especially with Zach LaVine. Like, Zach LaVine is in a contract year. Like, came off of being an all-star last year. Obviously, he's gonna be an all-star this year, but DeMar was like, nah, we're going to win games and be good, and I'm going to be the best player.
And
sorry, Levine.
And like I know everybody knows DeMar's history, and I know it. I know he's from Compton. I know he's from right around the LA area. But to me, it feels like he's from Chicago with the way he plays for the Bulls. And I don't know if that's just me, but it literally feels like he came in and was like, yeah, I'm from Chicago, my team. No, he's from Compton.
No.
They call him Compton.
He did a interview with Taylor. You know who Taylor Rooks is? She works for Bleacher Report.
She's the new, is she new?
Kinda.
Yeah, I think I do actually know who
You might
she
be
is.
thinking of Malika Andrews. They're kind of both like newer in the scene, but Taylor Rooks does like interviews with a lot of. She has like her own show where she interviews NBA players and athletes and coaches and stuff. She did the one with Darren Waller where Darren Waller talked about doing drugs and everything.
Yeah, okay, I know I did see that interview. Yep.
But she just started her new season, and the first episode was with DeMar DeRozan, and it was just a really good interview. But DeMar talked about how he almost went to LA, like went to the Lakers and took a like not a vet minimum, but took like a pay cut to go play for the Lakers. And
That would have been scary.
I know.
Talk about the worst shooting team
Imagine if he
ever.
would have been like this good though with the
Yeah,
Lakers.
but,
no,
like,
that wouldn't have worked.
The
still.
shooting would have been awful.
It still would not have
you,
worked.
You have to play Rondo. Oh, no, I guess not Rondo anymore, but you had Rondo.
Yeah,
Rondo,
they might not have
Russ,
traded Rondo in that
Bron,
scenario.
DeMar. Like, you can't shoot other than
Yeah.
LeBron.
AD.
Yeah. And that,
AD's
no.
back and he's playing. He had a really good game last night,
Yeah,
by the
he
way.
did.
So that's
Yes, he
nice to
did.
see AD.
Shout out AD.
My number 5 is Chris Paul of the Phoenix Suns. Got to throw Chris Paul in here simply because the Suns are so freaking good. They're the best team in the league, only team with single-digit losses currently. Chris Paul's numbers aren't going to scream MVP. He's only averaging 14.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, 10 assists. He does lead the NBA in assists per game. He hasn't averaged 10 assists in a game since his Clippers days, too, which is really wild.
Really? I guess that
maybe,
makes
actually, he
sense.
might have a year in Houston. No, there's no way he did with
I feel
Harden
like-
there.
Yeah, Harden
But,
averaged 10. I mean,
Two
damn near.
2 steals a game for Chris Paul as well. But his team is so good, and
He's clearly the leader.
like I saw a stat. The Phoenix Suns have 9 players that are averaging 10 points per game this year.
What?
9 players that are averaging at least double-digit points per game.
That's wild.
That is wild.
That's
and that is
ridiculous.
because of Chris Paul. I mean,
Yeah.
it clearly is. He was the point god, obviously. I wish I would have wrote down his turnovers per game because there's no way it's that high. For
I think
the
it's
amount
like
of
2.5.
assists. Which 2.5 for 10
Yeah.
assists per game
He's
is
sub 30.
unreal.
He's
Yeah.
like one of the first. He's like one of the only point guards in the league averaging like 9+ assists under 3 turnovers.
Yeah. Having a 3 assist to turnover ratio is
It's
pretty wild.
crazy.
And his is probably 4 if he's averaging 2.5 assists or 2.5 turnovers. So CP3 is my number 5.
My number 4 is the guy that you didn't put on because he's hurt, and it's Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Kevin Durant's just been when he plays, he is unreal. I mean, he is carry. I don't think people realize that Brooklyn Nets team sucks. They are bad. Like
Yeah.
you watch them and you're like, holy shit.
I mean, did you see the game the other night, the Lakers-Nets game? It was AD's first game back, but Harden just absolutely had a crazy good game, and they lost to the Lakers that have been sucking lately.
Like, the Nets are bad, and I can understand everybody's frustrations. But when KD plays, KD is by far the best player on the floor, putting up 30-point triple-doubles, so many 30 balls recently. He has been
Playing
unreal
40
lately.
minutes a night, too.
Yeah,
Like,
he's playing the most minutes since OKC.
Yeah.
He played 48 minutes in a game like 2 weeks ago before he got hurt. Huh? KD playing 48 minutes? Unheard of. That's ridiculous. He's been unreal this year.
Yeah, KD, like I said, he definitely would have made my list if he was not hurt. For sure would have made my list, and I hope he comes back soon because he still could win the MVP, honestly, if he comes back pretty soon. And he's on my fantasy team, so I'd love that. Number 4,
Selfish.
Number 4, I got Ja Morant on here. Had to put Ja just because of how good Memphis has been. Ja's averaging 26 points per game, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, a steal and a half, shooting 50% from the field, 36% from 3. I mean, the leap that Ja Morant has been absolutely great to watch. Like, Ja Morant is going to be a great player in this league for so long, and he's in MVP talks in his 3rd year, which is wild. I think at most improved talks shouldn't even be a discussion. Like, I think he easily is most improved player. That shouldn't even be talked about. MVP should be more where he's in the talks of.
Yeah, especially as they keep climbing the ranks and keep winning games with him.
Yeah.
He's been
And
ridiculous.
low-key, Jaren Jackson Jr. Depoy talks need to start coming up because there was some stat that he leads the NBA in like paint protections or something
Like percentages?
in late games. Like
Really?
they don't allow points in the paint late in the game, and it's because like when Jaren Jackson's
Yep.
in there. And he's up there in blocks per game this year. And they lost Jonas Valanciunas, but Jaren Jackson runs the 5 a lot when Steven Adams doesn't play or is just on the bench, and their defense is still really good. So
Yeah, that new Big Four mantra, like to get a 6'11" 4 who can run the floor really well and is just really long. It's gonna
play the 5, but also can play next to a 5 as well.
It's gonna be that's the new NBA. It's the Evan Mobleys.
Jaren,
Jackson.
Evan Mobley, yeah, for sure. Those guys are.
Bam Adebayo can play the 4 if he needs
You could play
to.
Bam next to another center for
Easily.
sure. Yeah.
And that's the future of the league,
Definitely.
no doubt. I mean,
There's been
Embiid
talks
can play
about
next to a 5.
Christian Wood getting traded to Miami.
Yeah, I did see that.
Around like a Duncan package. If they ended up with, I don't think Houston accepts that, but
You'd have to throw in some
obviously
other
you'd
guys.
have to throw some picks, and they don't really have many like young guys that are
tradable.
valuable, I guess. But
Like, you can't trade Hero anymore.
no, he's too good. Yeah, like it would be like Duncan, Akpala, and a few picks. Like
Do they still have Precious, or is he on the Raptors?
he's on the Raptors.
I
I
didn't
mean,
know.
like, do you
I didn't know
trade
where that
Gabe?
trade
Do you
happened.
trade Gabe? That was the Lowry trade.
Do you trade Max Strus?
No, you
He's
can't.
too
If you're
good.
trading Duncan, you can't trade Max Strus.
Yeah.
You trade Gabe Vincent or Caleb Martin.
You can't trade.
You can't
Gabe
trade
Vincent.
either, or you can't trade Caleb Martin either. Like they're
Has he
too
been
good.
hooping?
Yeah, he's been.
Their
balling.
whole team
You give him
hoops.
Yurt 7. You give him
Yeah,
Yurt 7.
facts.
But if Seawood ended up with Miami, imagine him and Bam
Oh, my
together.
God.
Oh, that would be nuts.
They would score so many points
Yeah,
as a tandem.
and they're already like a great defense.
yeah.
too.
Holy moly,
I
that'd
think
be
Miami
nasty.
low-key might be my favorite out of the East right now. I know it's
Miami's-
like we're kind of getting off on a tangent, but still, like
Mine's the Bucks. I think
Yeah.
the Bucks are just too
they,
hard.
those two teams match up so well.
So well.
Isn't it weird to say that like Brooklyn isn't even like in my top 2 like favorites out of the East?
Are they in my top 3?
I think they are. I would still take Brooklyn over like Cleveland or Chicago. As much as Chicago has been really good.
I might take Chicago.
maybe,
like honestly.
maybe. I don't know if they're going to be able to defend though, because they're just kind of like Brooklyn.
Yeah. Yeah.
But worse offensively.
Yeah. Probably tiny.
But they
bit
have a
better
good big
defensive.
man though, so that helps.
Yeah, and with Caruso being out, it kind of hurts.
and Lonzo too.
Yeah.
So
Who knows? Who knows? Number 3. I want to move this guy higher with how good he's been recently, but he did start off slow, and that's Joel Embiid. He's my number 3. He has been unreal. The numbers him and Jokic are putting up every night in, night out, battling for the MVP race has been unreal. But there's a guy who's better than Embiid. He's just been pretty quiet this year because he's the quietest guy in the league. But Embiid has been awesome. 76ers, please make a move. Quit waiting for stuff.
they're not
I
gonna.
get it.
They pretty much said they're not.
Yeah,
gonna
we're
trade
getting Harden
Simmons.
in the offseason is what their whole talk
I did
is.
see though that they offered a team something, whether because everyone's been offering them stuff and they just been saying no to everything. I don't know if this is like true. Obviously, all of this is just rumors, but it said they offered the Hawks because they're trying to dump Tobias' contract to Simmons and Tobias for Bogey, Collins, and 3 firsts, and the Hawks said no.
So, Jesus.
Which like the Hawks would also probably have to throw in like Lou Will or Gallinari just for money because Tobias and Ben both make a crap ton of money.
I get it because like Collins is on his way out. Like the Hawks are really exploring
Yeah,
trade
like the
opportunities for him.
Pistons, maybe we could get him,
That's
but
been talk. I mean, Jeremy
probably
Grant
not,
to the
but-
Hawks or to the Kings is probably most realistic.
Probably,
in my
yeah.
eyes.
But I low-key think the Mavs maybe if we do like a round of
Brunson.
Brunson.
Be
But
dope.
then we have to commit to paying because Brunson's unrestricted free agent
yeah,
this offseason.
we have to commit to him being our starting 2 guard for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, just him. He'd probably be the one just because he's smaller than Cade, but like
on
it doesn't
positionless.
matter.
Yeah, he'd play.
Yeah.
a lot.
Did you say your number 3?
Yeah.
Okay. My number 3 is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Tough putting him at number 3, but he's averaging 28.5 points a game, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, steal, block and a half, shooting 53% from the field. He's been really good. The Bucks have been really good. Their defense, they actually might be my favorites low key now that I'm thinking about it because their defense is going to be nuts, especially if Brook Lopez can somehow come back in the season because with DiVincenzo, Wes Matthews has looked really good for them. Obviously, they have Middleton, Drew Holiday, Giannis.
That big 3 is so ridiculous on both sides of the ball. Like
Drew
it is
has
so
been
unfair.
really like Drew is going to be like one of the top All-Star snubs. Like I don't think
Yeah.
he'll make it just because there's so many good guards.
but he needs to be.
But like he'll be one of the biggest snubs out of the East for sure. But Giannis is my number 3.
My number 2 is Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think the most underrated thing about MVP is the fact that Giannis probably deserves DPOY, or at least he's right there in the race for
Especially with
DPOY,
Draymond out, yeah.
averaging 28 points a game on probably like, in my opinion, I mean, like you said, they're not the best team in the East, but the East is also a 6-team race right now.
Yeah.
1 game's out, all 1 game out of first place. So, I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo is unreal. He's one of the most unstoppable offensive players and defensive players in the league. Definitely up there, and that's why I've got him at number 2.
Yeah. My number 2, it's obviously what I got left on the board is the race of the centers, and it's so difficult to choose which one because this league has become, the big men are killing it right now, and I love it. But number 2 is Nikola Jokic. Jokic has been absolutely dominant this year. He killed the Pistons on Tuesday night, giving 26 and 21, I
Yeah.
think. But he's averaging 26 points a game, 14 rebounds, 7.5 assists, a steal and a half, a block, shooting 57% from the field and 37% from 3. And he shoots more threes. Like he averages more attempts than Embiid, than Giannis, like than other these bigs, and he's still shooting the ball better than them. Jokic is absolutely like so good, and he's kept Denver relevant. There's like I think they're like
in the race.
Yeah, I think they're like 5 games above 500 right now. I think they're like the 6th seed. So, and Jamal Murray is coming back. Like he's coming back soon. They said in February they expect him to start playing again, which is awesome because Denver could be a team. I mean, the West is. obviously it's like Phoenix right now. It seemed like it was Phoenix, Utah, and Golden State, but those Utah and Golden State have kind of started to fall off. It's like just Phoenix right now. So the Nuggets possibly, if they get healthy, maybe MPJ comes back, that team could be dangerous in the playoffs. Jokic, though, is my number 2.
And my number 1 is Nikola Jokic, the Joker. Without Nikola Jokic, that Nuggets team is like a bottom 5 team in the league. That team really does. It's not very good. He restored Aaron Gordon's career, gave him a career. Obviously, freaking Bones is nuts. He's been balling lately. This Nuggets team is kind of fun to watch only because of Jokic.
Yeah,
it's literally just Jokic, and he's my MVP. Highest PER ever in the history of basketball right now, and that is just ridiculous. The efficiency and the way Jokic does it by jogging everywhere is unreal.
He plays so casually.
So casually.
Casual 30-point triple-double.
I'll just make this superstar pass that nobody else can make, but I'll just kind of do it walking. Like just throw it.
Even against the Pistons the other night, he was making some unreal passes, and it was just like, it's so normal, though. Like
his skip passes are the most casual.
I know.
He'll just be in the post and like, here it goes. Just
right in the pocket.
Rifled.
Right? Bucket. My number 1 is obviously Joel Embiid. It's really tough taking Embiid over Jokic. I'm strictly doing it because, one, the Sixers have been winning a lot of games lately. They're now 10 games over 500, and they are in that 6-team race in the East, which is really wild to say with no Ben Simmons.
Max contract player, not playing.
With your second best guy, depoy potential guy, just isn't playing games at all. Embiid, though, is averaging 29 points per game, 10, pretty much 11 rebounds, 4 assists, block and a half, shooting 50% from the field. But he has been, especially these last 10 games, 10, 15 games. Last night was the first time he didn't score 30 points in a game in, I think, 10
games.
Yeah, I think
like
almost 10 games. Yeah, so absolutely been scoring the ball like crazy lately, especially in the minutes he plays. Like, he has more points than minutes in that streak too, which is really wild. Joel Embiid is number 1, but obviously I completely understand if you have Jokic there because they're both so good.
If you have Giannis at number 1, I really do. I get it. Like,
yeah, I'm not mad.
Not mad.
If you have Wiggins there, like I
am.
He is an all-star starter. So
he's top 10. Yeah. He's top 10 of the race.
Top 10 MVP. That's what that means, right? All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Excited for football this weekend. Michigan State. Let us know who you think's going to win, and we'll talk to you later.
Peace.
Bye.